Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good morning. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has relieved the heads of the National Security Services, Internal Security Bureau, the University of Juba, and the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority in a fresh round of presidential decrees announced on Thursday. The Inspector General of Police has revoked the newly introduced traffic directives on fees and regulations, retaining only the ban on vehicles with tinted windows and other existing traffic violations. And journalist and editor-in-chief of the Al Watan Arabic newspaper, Michael Christopher, has been released from detention in Juba, according to his post on his Facebook account on Thursday. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. President Salva Kiir has relieved the heads of the National Security Services, Internal Security Bureau, the University of Juba, and the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority in a fresh round of presidential decrees announced yesterday. In a presidential decree read on the state-run South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation (SSBC) last evening, the Director General of the National Security Service, Internal Security Bureau, Chech Mayer, was relieved of duty and replaced by General Mawian Arik, who was promoted from the rank of Major General to Full General. At the Ministry of Transport, Under Secretary Engineer Cesar Oliha Marco was relieved and replaced by Paul Delgum. Meanwhile, Under Secretary at the Ministry of Mining, Santino Matiok, was removed and replaced by Deng Makwot Riak. President Kiir also relieved John Woja as Managing Director of the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority, appointing Ayel Garang Deng as his replacement. In the education sector, Professor Mayom Koirod was relieved as Vice Chancellor of the University of Juba, and Professor Kedge was reinstated to his position. Additionally, John Daniel was removed as Commissioner of the Financial Intelligence Unit and replaced by Bona Gong Yen. The Inspector General of Police has revoked the newly introduced traffic directives on fees and regulations, while retaining only the ban on vehicles with tinted windows and other existing traffic violations. Earlier this week, the Director of Traffic Police, Major General Con John Accord, issued directives banning the use of right-hand drive vehicles, vehicles with tinted windows, and vehicles with sliding doors on the left side. He also ordered public transport vehicles with sliding doors to ensure the doors open on the right side. In addition, the traffic police introduced new charges for driving tests and altered the renewal periods for vehicle registration logbooks and driver's licenses. Members of the public and civil society groups strongly criticized these measures, saying they violated existing traffic laws. The directive attracted scrutiny from national legislatures, who argued that the measures contradicted parliamentary legislation and were introduced without legal authority. Lawmakers accused Major General Kon of imposing rules intended to extort money from the public, describing the mandatory driving test certificate unlawful. They further accused the traffic police leadership of defying the law, stating that the inclusion of insurance details in traffic records effectively reintroduced annual renewal requirements that Parliament had previously abolished. On Wednesday, during its first General Assembly meeting in Juba, the South Sudan Bar Association said it had taken note of the public outcry over the new traffic orders. The association announced it would pursue legal action, citing violations of constitutional legal rights. The Bar Association President Arab Malweth announced the formation of a public interest litigation and human rights committee to mobilize lawyers to address the matter. In a statement aired on the state television last evening, Inspector General of Police General Said Chawul Lom announced the cancellation of all the directives except the restriction on vehicles with tinted windows. He clarified that the ban remains in force, with exemptions for drivers and passengers who have certified medical eye conditions. Regarding right-hand drive vehicles and vehicles with left-side sliding doors, General Chawul said they will continue to operate normally until Parliament enacts a law restricting their importation or use. He also dismissed claims of changes to license renewal periods, adding that driver's licenses remain valid for 5 years as provided for under the law. Journalist and editor-in-chief of Al Watan Arabic newspaper Michael Christopher has been released from detention in Juba, according to his post on his Facebook account on Thursday. In a short live video shared on his Facebook page shortly after his release, Michael thanked those who visited and supported him during his time in detention. He expressed appreciation to his friends and various media houses, including iRadio, as well as some security personnel. Following his release, he also met with the Minister of Information, Telecommunication and Postal Services at Tenyuek. Michael also thanked the Minister Ateng for his intervention and acknowledged the support of his wife and family, who remained in contact with him throughout the period of detention. The journalist did not disclose the reasons for his arrest, but said he would later explain what transpired. He also apologized to anyone he may have offended in his previous social media videos. Authorities have not commented on the circumstances surrounding his arrest and release. This is iRadio News. The rebel group, which last week seized the Democratic Republic of Congo city of Vera, say they have begun withdrawing, promising to complete the pullout supposedly on Thursday, following pressure from the United States. The M23 group captured a strategic city near the border with Burundi days after a historic US brokered peace deal between Congolese and Rwandan governments aimed at ending the long-running conflict in eastern DR Congo. However, DR Congo's government says the reported withdrawal is a diversion and needs verification. On Thursday morning, some Vera residents told the BBC it was not clear if the M23 were leaving, with some of their trucks still moving around the city. European Union leaders have struck a deal to give Ukraine $105 billion loan after failing to agree on using frozen Russian assets. The agreement, which leaders said would meet Ukraine's military and economic needs for the next 2 years, came after more than a day of talks at a summit in Brussels. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had urged leaders to use 200 billion euros of frozen Russian assets, but Belgium, where the vast bulk of the cash is held, demanded guarantees on sharing liability that proved too much for other countries. This is iRadio Morning News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. President Salva Kiir has relieved the heads of the National Security Service, Internal Security Bureau, the University of Juba, and the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority in a fresh round of presidential decrees announced on Thursday. The Inspector General of Police has revoked the newly introduced traffic directives on fees and regulations, while retaining only the ban on vehicles with tinted windows and other existing traffic violations. And journalist and editor-in-chief of Al Watan Arabic newspaper Michael Christopher has been released from detention in Juba, according to his post on his Facebook page account on Thursday. That's the end of iRadio Morning News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 8 o'clock. I'm Lasuba Memo. Thank you for listening.